You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
I am back, Rudrance, for Black and White Sports 2. Well, we're going to talk about yoga. That's right, a yoga studio in New York City. And a biological male that has decided he's pissed because he can't go into the women's locker room. That's right. And now he is suing the yoga studio. Keep in mind, he went into the women's locker room anyway, and guess what? Exposed himself, and yes, the women were mad as hell. It's kind of weird because I always notice that this kind of stuff happens in places like New York or Chicago, or let me just keep it real, a leftist city. You don't a Democrat-run city, because you would never see this in like more rural Texas. Why? Simply put, and I'm just going to keep it real here, there would be boyfriends and husbands get involved here. They would. I'm sorry. And there would be no stopping them. You would not have a biological male go into a locker room and there not be the biological man having to answer to husbands and boyfriends for having done it. It would not be a pretty situation. Well, now he's mad. He's suing the yoga studio. Keep in mind, this is not somebody that's had surgery, okay? So, for lack of a better way of putting it, he's still got his business. He's still got his junk, okay? And I just cannot get over wanting to go into a woman's locker room and disrobe in front of the women, and you expect the women are supposed to be okay with it. Of course they're not going to be. Of course they're not going to be. A transgender woman is suing Hot Yoga Chelsea in New York City after he insisted on using the women's locker room on May 4th. Dylan Miles, who's also known as Allie Miles, is an LGBTQIA+ individual, elemental P, who was born with male genitalia but identifies as a woman, according to court documents. Miles wants $5 million from the yoga studio for feeling what he described as, quote, shame, humiliation, and frustration after employees at the yoga studio were forced to escort him from the woman's locker room. Court documents show that Miles had been, quote, specifically confirmed by multiple employees of the yoga studio that he, quote, could not use the woman's bathroom or locker room. Wow. Miles alleges that he explained to multiple employees of the studio that he identifies as a woman. Okay. And wishes to use the women's bathroom or locker room when he attended yoga class. The staff told him numerous times he would need to use the men's /bathroom /locker room. It makes sense, dude. According to the court documents, Miles used the women's locker room anyway. This is what matters, which upset women using the facility. They felt uncomfortable. And Miles was asked to leave and was eventually escorted out of the locker room by the staff. Quote, it wasn't like he was just standing there, a witness told the New York Post. He was crouched down on the floor in front of the shower stalls. It was very uncomfortable for one of the women that was in there, and she was completely naked. He also disrobed, and he was full male. 150% male. There were things hanging out, the witness added. The Post noted that Miles has filed 3 gender identity discrimination lawsuits in 13 months in New York. Oh! So he's a habitual offender. He also sued Planet Fitness Gym in the Bronx and also a homeless shelter in the Bronx. Do you notice how he's trying to force everybody else to be okay with his lifestyle and his decision? The women are telling you they're not comfortable with you being in there. And you think it's the women that have it's everybody else that's got the problem. Okay. That's one way to go, I guess. We have several other transgender people at Chelsea Hot Yoga. We have several trans women and several trans men, but there's never been a problem. It's this individual, the witness told the Post. The Post mentioned that trans activists using the law is cases such as Miles' 3 lawsuits, quote, could be part of a coming tsunami of trans rights lawsuits targeting small businesses. Yeah, and most of these places, for example, these Planet Fitnesses, like the one here in my town that for whatever reason I still got a membership to, even though I don't go there anymore, I go to a different gym. They're owned by just individuals from here in town. They're not like some corporate office that actually owns it. We're talking about regular people that own these places that have to try to make a living off these things. These aren't necessarily super rich individuals that happen to own a gym. A lot of times it can be some husband and wife that had been saving their money to open a business, and here they are hit with something like this. This person started in immediately with reciting the law, and why would you do that? So in other words, this felt premeditated. That's what I'm gathering from what's being said here. Because this person could see that there were other women amongst myself that were notably upset. This person, I don't know if they come into these places to start a problem or what. In 2015, a Michigan woman won her appeal against Planet Fitness after she complained about a, quote, large, tall man using the alias Carlota Skladowski using the women's locker room and surprised, stunned, and shocked and did not feel uncomfortable changing her clothes or showering with a man present and watching. The gym revoked the woman's membership for complaining about the man. The woman successfully sued the gym. In March, 7 sorority sisters from Kappa Kappa Gamma at the University of Wyoming are suing the sorority for allowing a man who identifies as a woman to move into the house. I saw that. I saw an interview with those girls. The woman expressed fear about the transgender member after he allegedly became physically aroused near them. Good God. Wow. And that's even worse because they're saying this guy, it seems like, has a history of going into places even though he knows and he's seen. And what's amazing to me, this guy takes a step back, sees that there are women visibly upset by this because they don't want to see his genitalia. Keep it real. They don't want you in there. They don't want to see your junk. All right? You got to understand there's a lot of people that were raised that's not normal. All right? It's not normal for a man to want to saunter into a woman's locker room regardless of how you're identifying yourself. There's something that identifies you above everything else, it seems. Well, now he's filing a lawsuit against Hot Yoga. Wow. And it's his 3rd lawsuit. It would be interesting to know, has any of these lawsuits settled? Has he won the other lawsuit? I'm going to see what I can find involving that, because could it be that he's cashing checks right now? Allegedly. I always try to word these in ways that, is not going to upset the platform I'm freaking on. I mean, it is what it is. It's 150% man is the exact quote from the women. Like I said, it's always leftist cities. They never try this in a red city or places where they know, look, the sheriff is going to probably escort you out of there. I mean, they're going to skip the staff and they're going to call the law is what's going to happen. And you might get, indecent exposure, something like that thrown on you. And I always believe that a lot of these activists and people, whatever they're being activists for, social justice, because of color or whatever, that they are fully aware of the counties and the cities that they're operating in, because they know how it's going to be received in Texas, in Florida, up in Christie Nome State. It's just not going to be handled the same way. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.